All right. Good morning, guys. Melissa here. Um, Sun is in my eyes. Let me see. Okay. So, hey, I want to talk to moms for a second about dealing with adult kids. So, I did a video yesterday and I'm like, you know what? I'm just not going to put this video up. There was a lot of detail, not detail, too much detail, but a lot of information about what happened yesterday. So I'm like, just put it to a general thing. So, guys, somebody, when you have one of your kids in your life that you love a lot and their behavior is just outrageous, you are still the mom. You are still the mom. I did some research on this. Don't let the behavior intimidate you. Okay? Think about everything you love about your son, everything you love about him. You know, there is a lot of good in my son. He has a big heart. He is an amazing worker. I saw him yesterday going to work, even with sore feet. There's just so much good to him, sensitive. But then there's this other side that has come out again. And I don't even want to say it's another side. It's this pattern of hanging around with the wrong people. And, it only takes one thing. I had a friend before say, Melissa, it only takes one little thing to get in trouble. And it does. So that consistency is important. So as a mom, you can't really talk to somebody when they're going through whatever they're going through. You cannot talk to them. And this has happened before a couple times, and different excuses have been given. Honestly, he needs to grow up a little bit. My other son said that when we were talking. So when your son calms down and he says, you treat Vin like shit, whatever, that accusation, stay calm, ladies, and draw strength. Draw strength and be like, telling my son that he's doing something wrong is not treating somebody wrong. Sending him money to help him is not treating him wrong. So this is when you have to talk logic. And what you want to do is you want to draw strength and just, stay calm and look at the good. It's not, when you have adult kids, it's not like what my family or my husband's family, especially my husband's family, did with the shame and the condemnation. It's not that, because you're adding on to trauma, right? You're adding on to shame, you're adding on to pain. If there's addiction, you're adding on to that. So it's, I love you so much and I care about you, but right now I will always be your mom, but right now it will be from a distance. And no, you are not going to disrespect me like that. I mean, he saw his dad disrespect me. So, ladies, if that happens, the same with your husbands. When you're ready to talk to me in a different manner, then we can talk, okay? And when you do that, you can walk away. Um, it's not if you are going to threaten, to destroy my vehicle in any way, you are no longer sleeping in there. So when you have adult kids, you are just offering support. You are not mothering them. You're saying, hey, I love you and care about you, and this is what I would do to, you know, if you need help with this or that, this is what I would do. So, and if that relationship becomes very destructive, I'm wishing you the best. Once you straighten out your life a little bit, I hope that we can have a relationship, because what you're doing right now in this relationship is very hurtful to me. So, it's not shaming and condemning them. It is being very clear, very concise, very right on target. Let's meet up and I will give you your stuff. That's yours. And I hope the best for you. And there is a shelter down the road, and there's, these churches, and there's, these ministries that can help you. And that includes, ladies, dealing with adult kids, with calling police, as I did, put in a report, talk to them, let them deal with it, and then also being vigilant and making sure if anything does happen, you are calling the police. And many times calling the police on your kids, which I had to do twice. Once in New Hampshire, I said, look, something's going on here. Well, we can't do anything until a crime is committed. Same thing here. We can't do anything until a crime is committed. And, be willing to call the police. Be willing to, I had to do that once years ago, and I had to do that a second time in New Hampshire when something just didn't sound right. And the police checked it out, and they actually, they can be rough in New Hampshire, and they actually slammed him to the ground when he walked away because they felt it was disrespectful. So, you want to, be tough too. I hate to say that, but you have to be tough love. And then you want to say, I actually love you so much that being homeless is the best thing for you. And like the police said, they, and it's hard because you're like, okay, you can sleep in my van. I don't want to perpetuate, you don't want to perpetuate, a situation where people are homeless because, when they are homeless, many times things get worse. But again, his life, his choices, his consequences. And, if you can get it on a good basis, which we did have, no, I don't mind you sleeping in my van. Sleep in my van for free. I don't mind. Save up some money. So my son had saved up a lot of money, and then within days, just helping other people, wrong crowd, there it all goes, right? Pretty much most of it. So make sure you are willing to go to that point too that says, you're going to have to be homeless now because you're going to have to grow up and learn the hard way. And like the police, I talked to a nice lady yesterday, and they deal with this all the time. Talk to the police, get more ideas, and they're like, there's a lot of people in life who have had a very rough life, and they've had to go through, some rough stuff in order to choose to change their life. She's like, many people in life have had a hard life and turned their life around. So you hate to see it, guys, but you have to be willing, like the prodigal son in the Bible, when there's that disrespect, that emotional and verbal, that can turn into physical. I was talking to the police about those boundaries, and she's like, that's hard to say because you are the one who has a relationship. You are the one who, has to decide that. But obviously, if someone's going to physically hit you, you have to get out of the way and not accept that. But the verbal stuff, she was saying, sometimes people are just mad, which is true. And they'll say whatever they want to say because they're kind of like, I hate you, Mom, kind of thing. And they don't mean it. But still, it's a decision you have to make. So it's, lean on the police. I love you. Here's your stuff. But you're going to have to figure out some things on your own because you certainly will not be treating your mom like that. So you have to, like with anybody, I mean, they're an adult. Nobody has a right to inconvenience you, disrespect you, all those things. And as a Christian, too, and that's where things may be a little different than a normal police officer. For me, you are to love one another as Christ loved you. So, we have a God who is extremely loving, gracious, and kind. And so if you go a little bit more on the side of grace, you can just be like, you know what? I love you and I hope to work this out. Same with my husband. Absolutely still love him. I hope to work things out with him. But there needs to be changes. There needs to be, have you figured life out yet? Are you going to disrespect your wife? Are you going to throw your wife and then lie about it? Are you going to walk away and not make changes? So these are the type of things you have to deal with. I don't know why this happens to me, guys, and some women have a lot more that happens in life than other women, but God doesn't give us anything more than we can handle. So, yeah, so that's what I am going to encourage moms to do. You know, you still love your sons. My son, amazing, amazing guy, absolutely amazing. And it's always these bad friends. It's always these, and it's not the friend's faults. Honestly, it's not. I mean, you should be able to go with some people and be like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. Yeah, real friends, right? But when you do put yourself around the wrong people, and usually that is from somebody who doesn't feel accepted with themselves, so they'll go into the culture and they'll do what the culture does, and they just don't feel that they ever have been accepted or whatever, and then so they go to the quick fix, which is the friends with the very low standards. So you want to hold your son accountable and, call him to something higher. So you have to go back and remember too what that little boy was like. I mean, how much you loved him, how much you bonded with him, how much you love your kids, right? You'd like lay down your life for them, you love them, and you watch them through the years grow up, and you do the best you can with them. But when they have continue to make some bad choices in one area, you need to continue to be that rock in their life and say, I'm not accepting this, and I know you, and I love you, and I expect better from you than what you just showed me. So it's a lot of communication, ladies. But at some points, like right now, there's no communication. There's no staying in my van. There's nothing. So you have to let that prodigal son go eat the food from the pigs, so to say. He has to go with the pigs and the swine, and hopefully there will be repentance. So you have to show tough love, guys.